Every Friday night, Julia's job is to compare the grocery prices for Saturday morning shop. That is, after the radio's turned down a little. When that matter's settled, maybe I can even get out. Radio. I figure maybe I can get in a little reading before it's time to go to bed. And now it's my time to jack off. All of a sudden, it's time to go to bed. Today is Saturday, my work day. I get to work while Julia spreads her legs around the neighborhood.
All day.
That means she gets around. That is gross, but we have to make sure we get money. She gets meat from 5 big guys within a couple of blocks of our house. We're all big meat eaters in our family. Julia buys food for the entire week, so she takes her time and she takes the entire fucking week doing the shopping. Every Saturday night, she takes all of the vegetables and fruits up her ass. Easier said than done, but she's figuring out ways to double stretch that big ass. I remembered when Julia and I made up our minds we were going to build our own house out of vegetables and fruits.
Easier said than done.
I remembered that we'd be living for the rest of our lives. All of our time would be spent in among us. Then we had the job of meeting our neighbors, making friends with the people we'd hate. I got an inkling of the kind of neighbors we had the first time I tried to mow the lawn with that ancient broken down lawnmower of mine. The neighbors weren't friendly very long. Those neighbors of ours, working people like myself, selfish people like myself, all of a sudden I had an odd feeling. The fact is, I gotta take a big shit, and quickly. Every fucking week, there's always 1,000,001 bills. And my paycheck is never that much money. As I started to unfold my check, I had an odd feeling it was a fake check, because it was $1 million check. Everything sucks. It was exactly 13 years ago I first went to work at the plant. Time to kill this plant. If the workers in our department had any grievances or complaints, they brought them to me and I'd take them out. Usually, we went to a higher representative of management. But now this time, usually we could settle matters quickly. But now this time, no, all our machines had no safety devices, and there was a time I had that accident. I chopped off the tip of my dick. The x-rays showed my bone was badly smashed. And on top of that, I got let go by management for sticking my big fat members in the machine. Neither Julia nor I've ever voted in any election. And we seldom miss church on Sunday mornings. Because if we miss church, we's going right to help.
Welcome to hell.
My life was a big thing in my life. I took no interest in helping the youngsters of our officers, learning to dance and enjoying it like these children.
It's 11 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
It wasn't long before Jeannie ran into a little trouble at school. One night I came home and found her crying like a little bitch. Jeannie had a note from her teacher that she'd have to wipe her own ass and all the rest. I thought maybe I could help her.
Good Lord!
But now this time, I remembered that day when Julia and I made up our minds we were through. And we all think that's best for everybody concerned. I was finally alone. Living with that bitch was easier said than done. Every night I usually count the years until I'm dead. There's always a million worries and troubles and problems in my life. But everything was fine. Everything was okay. Everything was good. I usually take 1,000,000 recreational pills every morning to forget all of my personal problems. Even better, every Friday night I get smashed. I usually take an hour or so to take a shit. But now this time, cars, I've had to talk on the bell.
In just 2 minutes,
You're done. We were on our way. 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 Good. We were on our way. Good. Good. We were on our way. Good. We were on our way. Good. Exactly 13 years ago, I joined a website called www.count.